Welcome back to another episode of Unplugged, brought to you by DraftKings. The Phoenix Suns have fired Coach Bud. One and done. 36-46 was his record. One season. But this has kind of been a common thing since Mat Ishbia has taken over the Phoenix Suns. He's had three coaches in his 3 years here, starting with Monty Williams, 45-37. The year before that, he won Coach of the Year and they went to the finals. He was fired. Frank Vogel fell victim after that, 49-33. After one season, he was fired. And now Bud, probably the only one on this list that deserves to be fired, is 36-47, and he's out. Obviously, we know that the Phoenix Suns went to the finals in 2021. CP3 was in the mix for 3 years, and I think everyone thought this was a very promising situation for them. Ishbia came on board in 2023, fired Monty Williams, fired Frank Vogel, and now fired Bud. The news came out this morning that the Suns will work with Kevin Durant on a new trade destination. And I think that probably comes out a little bit out of left field because let's back up a little bit. Bradley Beal, who I'm a big fan of, dad, Mark Bartelstein.
Yeah, his agent. So Beal's agent is Mark Bartelstein. Yeah. And then Mark Bartelstein's son Josh, is the CEO of the Suns. Yes, sir.
So there was some inside. You guys heard that. So Mark is Beal's agent. Mark's son is the CEO of the Suns, so there was some insider trading going on with that team. And we all know that obviously the Beal experiment has not worked out. The team has been bad. He hasn't been very good. I think he's averaging 17-4 over his 2 years with the Suns. Played no more than 53 games each season. So he's damn near making $1 million a game. And to his credit, he activated his no trade clause with this team. So I think that clogged up the pipeline at the trade deadline. And since that was clogged up, they threw Kevin's name in there out of left field. And obviously, as it should, it kind of raised Katie's eyebrows. And now they're on the verge of losing, obviously, Kevin Durant this offseason. Another thing to keep in mind, Jimmy Butler was very adamant about wanting to become a Phoenix Sun. And the one person that had to, from the Sun side that had to be in that trade was Beal. And Beal exercised his no trade clause and completely plugged up and clogged up and fucked up that deal. Now, if you look at what Jimmy Butler has done with Golden State, injected new life into them and has them in a play-in situation, one just wonders what could have happened if Jimmy Butler was able to go to the Phoenix Suns. Very interesting. And I just think, of late this last month, I've really been talking about new owners coming in and not necessarily understanding that this is not fantasy basketball. Although it is your team, you are free to do what you want. A lot of these new owners are making mistakes. One owner partnership I wanted to shout out was the new Boston Celtics situation, where a group came in, paid a lot of money for the team, but keeping Wick Grossbeck in charge of things for 3 years. So almost a transitioning program for the new ownership. And allowing the old ownership to kind of show them the lay of the land, because the last thing they want to do is mess up the property or the product on the court. And I think the Celtics have done it the right way. You look at Dallas and see what they've done. You look at Phoenix and see what they've done. And we've always talked about winning starts at the top. So I think the NBA needs to kind of really watch out for these new owners and making sure they have the right mindset and spirit and integrity it takes to run one of these franchises, because we've seen two franchises with promising shit. Just Dallas was in the finals last year and Phoenix was in the finals 4 years ago. New owners come in and kind of completely tear down what was built before. Now we want to welcome in my brother Keyon Dooling to talk about Phoenix. KD, welcome to the show, man. Bud is gone. What are your thoughts?
Wow, man. I mean, what is that, 3 coaches in the last 3 years? Something like that?
A coach per year since Ishbia has been here, not to cut you off. Every year there's been a new coach since the owner's been here.
Yeah, man. It's obviously, something isn't clicking, right? Because they're not able to, not only get their talent, retain their talent. There's no continuity. You're bringing in new programs every year. I don't like it. Something is going on in Phoenix, and it just doesn't feel good to me.
I always felt like on paper, you see the names this team's had, from Chris Paul to obviously Devin Booker's been the constant. Kevin Durant the latest. I always felt like they were a very top-heavy team. I compared them to a team that only lifts upper body, and their legs are super skinny, because I said they always had super, they had the best of the best up top, but they never had depth because they poured so much money into those guys. One thing, too, obviously, with the trend of late is being owners kind of coming in and being a little bit over their head. I don't know a ton about Ishbia. Obviously, walked on at Michigan State. But one thing I do know is he hired Bartlestein, who was an assistant GM over in Detroit, who is the son of Mike Bartlestein, who is Beal's agent. So there was some home cooking. There was some home cooking with that deal that brought Beal to Phoenix. That's pretty much fucked everything up. And this is not shitting on Beal. I think Beal's been a tremendous player throughout his career. But his time in Phoenix, he's at like 17-4. He was a 25-point-plus per game scorer. He's making a ton of money. He's played 53 games in his first 2 seasons in Phoenix, so pretty much he's getting $1 million per game. We know that he was the one that didn't want to move his no trade clause, which somehow Phoenix management thought it'd be a good idea. Well, shit, if he's not going to move his trade clause, let's see if we can get with Kevin Durant without asking Kevin Durant. And then now you see reports this morning that Phoenix is going to work with Kevin Durant to find him a new home. So I don't care how good your team is on paper in the locker room. KD, we all know that shit starts up top, and it's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate, because at the end of the day, like, this hurts Kevin Durant's legacy somewhat, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, if KD, doesn't get those championships in Golden State, right, which they say he wasn't the leader on, even though he was the best player on that team, this was an opportunity for him to go out, band together, have his own program, and it's a failed experiment. So I don't like it for KD, but I'm glad they'll work with him to get him placed in the right new situation.
Kevin Durant was the best player on that team, and I was there for 1 year. Kevin Durant was the best player on that motherfucking team. It was Steph's team. There's no question about it. And Draymond was the leader, but Kevin Durant was the best player on that team. But since we're on the Kevin Durant topic before we go to the next, where do we see him landing? Do we see back to Golden State? Do we see him to the Knicks? Do we see him to Houston? Do we see, we know OKC has a ton of things that they can throw his way or a team's way to grab him. Ideally, this is probably going to hopefully be his last move. KD has maybe 2-3 more years at best under his belt. Where do you think a good fit for Kevin would be if this comes to fruition and he ends up leaving Phoenix?
Anywhere Durant goes is a good fit, in my opinion. He's just that good of a player.
Yeah,
not just on the offensive end, but defensively, right? KD is KD at the end of the day. He's a hooper to the core. He loves this shit. He loves it. I think it's 2 sleeper locations, right? If he doesn't go to like one of the big contenders, like I would think Miami would try and make a move for him to get a superstar down here. At some point, Pat Riley always tries to, maneuver and make his moves, especially on the cusp of Jimmy kind of going a different direction. And then don't be surprised if, the Wizards get the number 1 pick, they get Cooper Flag, maybe KD goes back home. That's a sleeper. That might happen as well. So I'm not sure where he'll go. I just want him to go somewhere where he can just hoop, and build on his legacy.
I think one thing that's rare about him being one of those superstars, and obviously we live in an era where superstars move, he seems to be the only superstar that moves and fits in seamlessly wherever he goes. Because like you said, all he does is hoop. He don't cause no problems. He goes out there and plays basketball every day. He's healthy, and he plays it at a very high level on both ends. So wherever he ends up landing, selfishly, I'd love to see him make a run for Golden State. He's 37. He's got 1 more year left on his deal at $54 million. Probably look for a 2 to 3 year extension to ride off into the sunset, man. So we wish KD the best of luck. Playoffs are here, man. Best time of the year. The Eastern Conference playoffs picture as such: Bucks versus the Pacers, Knicks versus the Pistons. Celtics will either play the Magic or the Hawks, and the Cavs will play whoever becomes the 8th seed. Obviously, they're sitting at the top of the East. Let's start with Bucks and Pacers real quick. What do you like and don't like about this series?
Well, I don't like that Dame, may not be available, right? I think they had injuries last year. The Pacers are a team that beat them and put them out of the playoffs last year. They are dangerous, especially like with a man down, especially somebody as influential and impactful as Dame. We could be seeing Giannis, for the last time
In Milwaukee? Ooh,
yeah,
don't say that. Don't say that.
If they get knocked out the first round, I can see Giannis trying to get to a bigger market.
Definitely not mad at that. There's been whispers in the past. The reports are that at some point this series, Dame will play, thanks to our brother Sham. But if Dame isn't Dame, him just being on the court is not enough for this team to advance, and I think we know that. We've kind of seen since them winning a championship, this team has not really taken any steps forward. They've moved role players that they thought they can get around with, similar to Denver. I think sometimes people get fucked up, obviously knowing that the stars make the world go round, but role players are so instrumental in championship runs. And you look at the PJ Tuckers and the Portises and the guys they had during those runs that they let go, similar to what Denver did, when they let their Jeff Green and Bruce Brown and all those role players go. They were instrumental, and they haven't been able to find that chemistry since. So I'm definitely not mad at what you said. This could be the last time we see Giannis wearing that nasty green. We will have to pay attention. Giannis has 3 years left on his deal and a player option for 2027-28 season at $63 million. So that'll definitely be an interesting series to pay close attention to. Are we seeing the end of an era with Giannis? Next up, this is one of my favorite first round matchups. Knicks versus the Pistons. Obviously, Knicks, shout out to Tibbs, first back-to-back 50-win season since Pat Riley did it way back in the day when we were teenagers. The Pistons, I want to salute this team, man. The way they've been quietly being able to build a solid, young, versatile roster. And who's over there coaching? He got the axe somewhere. He didn't even deserve to get the axe from Cleveland, right?
Yeah, big staff.
Completely changed the mentality of that organization around along with the players. But this is going to be an interesting matchup, KD. Brunson's been struggling with injury. He's getting back. But we all know the Knicks core guys are at the top of the league in minutes. And that 50 win means nothing if you can't do nothing in the playoff because you're too tired. So what are your thoughts on this first round matchup?
Very interesting matchup. I think Detroit has such a young team. They're talented. They're hungry. They know that they belong now, right? They have really developed that program. They embody Coach Bickerstaff and his personality. Cade is taking his game to another level. They got a lot of defensive versatility. But I think the Knicks has too much experience to be ousted in the first round. Tibbs is he's battle tested, especially in the first round of the playoffs. I think Cat brings a different dimension. Playoff Cat. I think Big Bodega in New York. I think he'll have his energy. I think the Knicks will take care of business against the Pistons.
I definitely agree. I think this is going to be a good opportunity for the Pistons to touch the playoffs. They haven't been there in a while. Good young team with the Thompson twins and Cade and all those pieces they have over there. But I agree. I think the Knicks do have the depth. I just want to see how long this depth can last. But, what do they have? 3 guys or 4 guys in the top 20? 3 guys in the top 10 in minutes and 5 in the top 25. So their starting 5 has played the majority of the season. Although I respect that and hats off. We all know, man, when it comes to playoff times, you need them legs.
Agreed. You know what? But the thing about it is those guys been playing those type of minutes the whole year. And, you can't save them in the playoffs. You get days in between, so you get a chance to recover. Obviously, Tibbs plays his guys, right? But, it's just a part of Tibbs' philosophy.
That'll be interesting to see, though, because, again, if this team – I don't see him losing in the first round, but it's going to be an interesting second-round matchup. Does that kind of wear and tear on your core – if you're an owner or a GM or are you looking at that as okay, we're winning during the regular season, but we have nothing in the gas tank when it comes to playoffs. So that'll be something interesting to pay attention to. Celtics, who are my pick to win it as long as they're healthy, will either see the Magic or the Hawks. If you're the Celtics, do you prefer one of those two? Would you rather stay away from one? What are your thoughts on that?
I would rather see the Hawks than the Magic, personally. But it doesn't matter who the Celtics see. I think they're going to repeat this year. I think they're just that good. They're that talented. They can play a wide range of styles. And so I don't really care who the Celtics see. I think they're going to handle their business.
I agree. And I really like they've been kind of slow walking Porzingis the whole season because he was in and out a little bit last year when it meant the most. And then obviously Jaylen Brown won't be 100%, but he's obviously an instrumental part in the finals MVP. But I agree with you. I mean, from Pritchard to White to who's the white boy that shoots?
Hauser.
Hauser's a knockdown shooter.
Yeah.
Missoula gets the most out of those guys. And to me, that's the one team that is locked in. Last but not least, Cavs in the play-in, number one team in the Eastern Conference all year. Donovan Mitchell, Garland, Mobley. This team is deep, and I think they're ready to make a run. Again, who they play in the first round doesn't really matter. What are your thoughts on this team? Obviously, you and I both feel that the Celtics will come out of the East. Do the Cavs pose a threat? And we're looking obviously a little bit ahead because they were probably playing the Eastern Conference Finals. Do the Cavs pose a threat to Boston?
They absolutely pose a threat to everybody, really. The Cavs, they're young, they're talented. Donovan Mitchell is proven himself time and time again, in particular in the playoffs. If you look at some of his averages in the playoffs, like, young fella be ready during the playoff time. They got the defensive versatility. They're well coached. They like playing with each other. They made some adjustments at the deadline, so they got better defensively. But yeah, they're probably the biggest threat to the Celtics in the East, in my opinion.
Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs, career numbers 28, 5, and 5.
Come on now.
And he's been in the playoffs every year of his career. So our boy is ready. He knows come April, it's time to go.
And I really like the way Donovan adjusted his game for Garland this year. Like, this was a big mental year for Garland. And Donovan adjusted his game. And in my opinion, he grew within his game because he plays on the defensive end now. And then he shows selflessness by just saying, hey, you know what, DG, we need you to perform so that when the playoffs do come around, we can have that extra weapon.
I think Donovan Mitchell, to your point, is one of the most underappreciated superstars we have in this game.
Facts.
He's done nothing but be great every stop. Only 2 stops, but every single season in the playoffs. Numbers are crazy in the playoffs, but I don't think he gets enough. Maybe because he's just been in smaller markets, his whole career. The great state of Utah, Max's favorite, and then obviously Cleveland. Not the biggest markets, but I definitely see the Cavs in the C's in the Eastern Conference Finals. Heading over to the West, where we do it the best. We'll start off with the Lakers and the Wolves. This shit came down to last night's game, and I was selfishly looking forward to Golden State and the Lakers in the first round, but possibly could get that in the second round. But let's start with the Lakers. If I'm the Lakers, I'm happy with this draw that I've gotten. Although Anthony Edwards led the league in three-pointers this year, I think he lets people off the hook a little too much because he's shooting that thing so much. But obviously, the big void is losing Cat. And Julius Randle hasn't been able to really elevate the team like they thought that trade would do. But what is your thought on this first round matchup?
I like the matchup. I think it's box office, right? Anytime you have that kind of talent on the court, But I believe that the Lakers are going to take full advantage of the youth of the Timberwolves. I don't think the Timberwolves have enough offensive weapons. I think they've regressed offensively after losing Cat. I don't think Julius has really stepped up in that way and felt that void. But one thing about Anthony Edwards, he loves the moment. He loves the limelight. The lights will be on. But I just think that the Lakers will take full advantage of the Timberwolves in this series.
I agree, and I think the importance for the Lakers to not play with their food. I think it's important for them to finish every series as fast as possible and get as much rest as possible for their guys. Obviously, LeBron being the main person I'm thinking about, but just overall, we know at this point, no one's healthy, everyone's banged up, so the more rest you can get, the better. Series like this, you don't want this to drag 6 or 7 games. You want to get this Wolves team out of here in 5, 6 at the most, but I would want to say you want to get the Wolves out of here in 5 and get some rest. So we'll see how that goes. Second matchup we're looking at is the Rockets. Sitting in the second seed, congratulations to them. Ime Udoka, he's got a team full of dogs that have definitely taken on his personality, young and hungry. This is going to be a fun team for many years to watch. Obviously crept up into the second spot. They will face either the Warriors or the Grizzlies. The Warriors are in the playing game for the 4th time. They tip off tomorrow night. They're 0-3. in play-in games. So the Warriors definitely got the odds against them. That Harrison Barnes shot kind of fucked them up, right? That Harrison Barnes in Golden State, that crazy game winner, it was in Jimmy's face. In Jimmy's face to kind of put the Warriors in a do-or-die situation. Obviously, last night, Kawhi and motherfucking James Harden weren't playing, but a former Warrior could possibly have the Warriors sitting at home if they don't show up tomorrow night versus a young, hungry Grizzlies team. But for the Rockets to play either one of these teams, what are your thoughts on this series?
I personally don't want the Rockets to have to see the Warriors. I think they've had such a fantastic season, but the Warriors are so battle-tested and they played so well since getting Jimmy on the squad that I would hate for them to have to run into those boys in the first round. So but at the same time, man, Houston, man, they're one of those teams I think that are built for the future, but they don't have the experience right now. If they was to run into the Warriors, I think Houston would lose that series.
I agree with you 100%. I think this is, they're on a similar trajectory as OKC. We've seen OKC kind of tread water at the top of the Western Conference the last few years, and everyone, they're too young, they're too this, they're too that. Now they're here again, and obviously we'll get to OKC and what they can do, but I feel like the Rockets, to your point, are built for the future, but they're here now, and I agree. Seeing the Warriors would not be ideal for them in the first round, so we will see who that young team plays come tomorrow night. Next up, this is going to be a very interesting series right here. One team has won 8 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. The Clippers have won 8 in a row with Kawhi Leonard on the court and being everything he was when he was a 2-time Finals MVP versus the Nuggets. And the Nuggets can either go two ways: unite team-wise through all the BS that's been going on, or allow that to fracture that team. And before we get into the matchup, what is going on over there with young Kroenke? Kroenke's our age. You went to school with Kroenke, right?
Yeah, I played with Kroenke. Yeah,
you played with Josh at Mizzou, right?
I did. Yep. Absolutely.
So interesting to me, and obviously you tell me your thoughts. Okay, you want to fire Mike Malone and you want to get Calvin Booth. I mean, I have no issue with that, but doing it right now, I mean, to me, that was a very crazy left field move. If you want to fire the dude, fire him after the playoffs. But obviously they felt like he had to go now. But what are your thoughts on that before we actually get to the matchup of the Clippers?
One thing about the Kroenkes, man, that family, they have a standard. They do. They real good people. They stand up people. And like at the end of the day, if you're not speaking head coach and GM, if you're not being professional in that setting, you're butting heads and things like that. I don't think Josh was going to let that linger, and he made a swift decision, a bold decision at that moment, right? And then also, if they don't have plans for the future for those guys to be brought back, they wanted to get out of the race so they could get some new younger talent as a coach, or maybe somebody who's been fired. But Kroenke don't play like that, man. He's a hooper at heart. Yeah, he's a hooper at heart. And so if they wasn't representing him in the way that he thought was right, he made his decision.
Playing the Clippers will get them faster to that decision they want to make, because they could be gone in about 10 days. So who do you have with the Clippers and the Nuggets? One team is hot at the right time, and one team has some BS lingering at the top. And we all know it all starts at the top.
Surprisingly, bro, I think the Clippers is the one team that really matches up well with the Nuggets in the West. So for me, I think the Clippers can get them. I personally think the Clippers can get them. They've been playing well as a team. They have the pedigree. Load management, I don't even want to call it load management. The way that they've been able to manage Kawhi and his body leading up into this moment has been beautiful. It's been brilliant. They're well coached. I think Van Gundy now is their defensive coordinator. Norman Powell has stepped up this year and brought additional scoring. James is facilitating, and he's getting his hands on a lot of balls defensively. And I think Zubac has the size. Zoo has the size down low to be able to not stop Joker, but at least make it a little difficult. I think the Clippers are a very dangerous team coming out of the West. I think they're dangerous.
You touched on them, and I'm glad you touched on them. Zubac is one of the most underrated players in the game. I think he averaged what did he average this year? 17 and 13. And like you said, he won't be able to stop Jokic, but he's also going to make Jokic work on that defensive end. Zub goes about his business. If I'm not mistaken, they traded him for Mike Muscala, and he's been doing his thing ever since, just under the radar. But this year, I think he's had a real breakout year. He could definitely be in the conversation. I don't know if he'll be, but he should be in the conversation for most improved player. He just consistently got better every single year, and he's one of those throwback guys where you can throw the ball down low and he can get you a bucket too. So 17 and 13. But to all your points, we know Ty Lue's one of the best coaches in the game. We saw what James did last game, but particularly in overtime. He took that shit over yesterday. And then obviously Kawhi is the key. We know Kawhi is the key. And if we get a healthy Kawhi Leonard this playoff series, he's going to piss everyone off because why can't we get this all the time? But he if he has it now, it's going to be at the right time. And I agree. I feel like the Clippers are one of those teams that's kind of just floated under the radar the entire season. But I would not be surprised at all if this is the team that represents the Western Conference in the finals. The one person that's linked to the Nuggets situation has been Bob Myers. I don't know if I see Bob going up to the Cove to run that shit. I think Bob is waiting for something in sunny California to pop off, and particularly down south to pop off for him to slide in one of those situations. I see Bob, obviously he's got a good gig at ESPN right now and got out at the right time with the Warriors. I see Bob floating around that Los Angeles Lakers franchise when the time is needed. I just kick my feet up and if I'm Bob and kind of wait for that. Last but not least, the Thunder will be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So, obviously we know all the play-in teams and all the possibilities with the Thunder. I don't really see maybe the Warriors possibly giving them because of the experience. But I think they may be too young and up and down for the Warriors myself. But do you see Oklahoma City coming out of the Western Conference?
I think it's their time. I think they've heard all the noise about people saying they don't have enough experience, they aren't tough enough, all these negative things, in regards to how they play as a team. But I think this is their year to take that step. I think we're gonna see the Celtics and OKC in the finals.
All right. So my question, my rebuttal, not really rebuttal, my question to that is, who is Oklahoma City's second guy that'll be 20 points a game in the playoffs? They've done it by committee all year. Who will be their consistent second guy? Is it Chet? Is it Jalen? Who is going to be their second guy that you have to have in the playoffs that is a 20-point a game a night scorer?
I think it's Jalen. I think he's a guy who can do it on both ends of the floor. I think he has the talent. I think he has the grit. I think he's a young player eager to prove himself. Right, and I just think it's his moment now. I think he's gonna embrace this. Like, no, y'all not gonna point the finger at me. I'm gonna show y'all that I'm worthy.
I love it. I'm with you. I feel like this can be the year that Oklahoma City has heard all the rumblings and they paid their dues and did what they need to do to represent the Western Conference. This also could be the last year that someone upsets them, and moving forward will be their time. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm really excited about this playoff. I think there's been a lot of complaining about the whole season and what should and shouldn't happen, and this is boring and ratings are down. This is going to be a dope-ass playoffs. There's a lot of intriguing matchups. Obviously, the play-in is super entertaining. I've always been a fan of the play-in because those games are such high level, but I'm really excited to get these 2025 playoffs started. With the playoffs here, the producers put some questions together for us, so I want to shoot them to you. Which player is the most important to their team's success this playoffs? Here's a couple guys I'm going to throw at you. Kawhi Leonard, last 2 months, averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals per game on 50, 43, and 80 from the stripe. Scored 33 and 7 and 3 steals against the Warriors on Sunday to seal the Warriors into the playoffs. Cat, Bridges, and OG. The Knicks, we talk about their depth and the new pieces they've received. Got a target on their back. Chet and J-Dub, who's going to step up? We just talked about who's going to be the second scorer. Anybody come to mind with you?
I would say the young guys from Oklahoma City, right? It's really what they do that's going to determine if Oklahoma City can get to that conference final. In my opinion, like, Kawhi is Kawhi. We know what he brings when he's healthy. So that's not necessarily a surprise there. But, like, if those young guys, you don't know because they unproven. If they can go out and prove themselves and prove their value, they give Oklahoma City a great opportunity to get to the Western Conference Final.
I'm going to go on the other side. My pick to win it all, I think it's Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. Can they be healthy enough to be right there with Tatum? And I think Tatum's on some redemption shit. He's quietly had another great, probably first team All NBA type year. Was fucked over last summer with the Olympics, so that's definitely on his shoulder. Was snubbed for Finals MVP, so that's definitely on his shoulder. So I know Tatum's mind is locked in. Will Jaylen Brown's health and Porzingis' health allow them to be, that big three duo that I feel like they need to repeat? Young breakout stars. Last year was Anthony Edwards. Who do you see as a young breakout star? Is it Williams over in OKC, or Chet? Is it Amen Thompson? Is it Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, Mobley? I mean, there's a ton of young stars that are, really going to cut their teeth this year in the playoffs. Does anyone jump out to you as someone who is going to steal the shine?
Yeah, I think Amen Thompson down in Houston. I think he's so dynamic on both ends of the floor. He's a freak of nature athletically. And in the playoffs, I think his game is kind of built for the physicality. So I think he's going to have a breakout, playoff performance. And he's from Fort Lauderdale at the end of the day, so I'm staying with the home team.
Wait, is he? I thought the Twins were from the Bay.
Well, they went to high school in Fort Lauderdale, champ.
I don't even know who I want. I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of the Twins because I got twins. I love Cade. I just don't think they're going to get out the first round. Obviously going to be someone who has to go a couple different rounds, so you're going to be able to see that. So Thompson, could be Mobley, but whoever it is, I'm really excited for this year's playoffs. KD, thank you for joining me, bro, and we will talk to you soon.
All right,
no doubt. You look good today too. If no one tells you, I'm gonna tell you. What up, y'all? This is Matt,
your boy Stack,
from the All the Smoke podcast.
Big news. We're teaming up with the ultimate sneaker plug, StockX.
You see it. It's on our feed. Let me put you on to something real quick. If you're serious about sneakers and style, you need to be on StockX.
For the rash kicks to the latest releases, StockX gives you access to everything you need to level up your game. No more missing out, just straight up access to what's next.
Head to StockX.com or download the StockX app to level up your collection.
It's the game changer. StockX. Now you know.
God damn, bro. You okay over there?
Man, this is crazy, man. These girls won't stop hitting my phone, bro.
I thought you just said you was dry a couple weeks ago.
Well, man, I've been using these Rose Sparks, man, and I guess the word is out on me, man.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
Because last thing I heard, you got a bad case. That's why you got to shave your facial hair.
Nah, no more flatlining, baby boy.
You're back.
I'm back, man.
Man, I might need to try these. Like, what's the process with them?
You put one of the lozenges under your tongue, man, and on average, it's 15 minutes, man. And you ready to go.
Is
and
that
let me
right?
tell you, bro, it works, bro.
Looks like you're confident. Everything is going good with you.
Absolutely, bro. And the ladies are super satisfied.
Are they?
Man. Come on, man.
You're back, huh? You ain't been back. You ain't really been back since like 98, 99.
Oh,
though.
man, come on, don't do me like that, man. I'm back. I'm current right now.
Yeah, up
it's
there.
All about getting back in the game.
You feeling good?
Absolutely, man. I had the flat tires, man, and now I'm burning rubber.
Yeah. Are you using rubber though?
Good Lord. Well, at my age, man, you're not supposed to, but I'm still doing it, baby boy. Let me tell you, it's part of my budget now.
Well, congratulations, man. I'm glad you're back in the game.
I appreciate it. I really do.
No doubt. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off Sparks for your first order on a recurring plan. Connect with your provider at ro.co/smoke to find out if prescriptions of Rose Sparks is right for you. That's ro.co/smoke for $15 off your first order. This episode is brought to you by Mando. Mando's whole body deodorant has been my go-to ever since they sent me products. It's created by doctors to keep me super fresh, and it's safe to use anywhere on your body. Controls odor for up to 72 hours. All products are baking soda free and paraben free. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for all new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 products of your choice. I chose the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes. I actually switched over to Mando. When they became a partner of the show, I gave it a try and I fell in love with it. So I used this body spray and the deodorant. And let me tell you, it works well. As a special offer for all listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with an exclusive code. That equals up to 40% off your starter pack. Use code SMOKE at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresh, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Want to welcome in one of my former classmates, the head coach of the UCLA football program, DeShaun Foster. Man, welcome to the show. Thank you. I know you came straight from practice today. Announcement, we've teamed up with you guys for your Friday Night Lights. That'll take place Friday the 18th. Doors open at 5:30. Practice starts at 7. You pitched us an idea of Rucker Park for football. This will be your second time doing it, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Second year.
You guys did it last year. How did last year go, and how are you hoping this year goes?
Last year went great. It was so big and way bigger than we anticipated. That's why we had to move it to
Drake Stadium.
Yeah, so moved it to Drake. We loved just how the fans came out and the way they were on the field, and just like Rucker, you could feel it.
Feel like you touched it.
And that's what I was trying to.
Yeah,
that was the vision.
But you got you got 310 Baby coming out. You got what's old dude's name that's gonna MC? What's his name?
Cholo Fit.
Cholo Fit. Cholo Fit will be MCing. Yep. What made you? I love the move. First of all, I mean, I've always been a huge advocate of UCLA, but I've also been frustrated from a standpoint of we always go out and get outside people when we have plenty of people that have been in our ecosystem that have put the work in, that are talented enough to take a position such as yours. What did it mean for you to be able to come back to somewhere you grew up wanting to go, had a successful career at UCLA, went on to play pro, and now you're back as the head coach of UCLA football? What did that mean to you and your family?
It meant a lot. You really can't put it into words just because you're not sure if it's obtainable or what's going on, but UCLA is doing a good job now. They're finally, like you said, hiring from the inside. And, other sports are doing that, and hopefully we can just continue to do that. But as long as I can continue to be successful, I think that the trend to keep going.
I think you set the tone. We had this conversation. I think there's a lot of, not added pressure, but outside, because, again, you're kind of the first homegrown hire for a major sports program we've had. Martin, we got some other situations coming up soon. This is just me talking to you. I got some people that know some people that owe some people. We need to have lunch, man. We need to sit down and talk. But I was super excited when they announced you. Obviously text. I couldn't make the press conference, but again, just excited. We came into UCLA in '98 together. I saw you put your work in on the field, and then just a full circle moment to see you, the head coach, and the energy that you bring and the passion you bring. And I think now coaching, and correct me if I'm wrong, obviously X and O's will always be important, but you relate to these kids.
That's the number one thing. Right now, you got to be able to relate to these kids, because the portal is something that's every year and it's twice a year. You know what I mean? So if you can't relate to these kids and get them to want to come back or buy in or really be in your program to develop them, then you're in this business.
So what is your thoughts? I mean, obviously recruiting isn't the way we're recruited. Obviously NIL changes the whole dynamic, and then the portal. You hear college coaches, Hall of Fame college coaches, like, hey, we're not really looking at, for basketball, we're not really looking at high school kids. We don't feel like high school kids can help us. We're going to jump in the portal. Do you guys have a philosophy or a balance on how you approach the portal and NIL?
Yeah, we do. You have to. We're bringing in 28 kids per class, a little bit. So it's kind of dependent on what your holes are or where they're at. But if we recruit a high school kid, we think he's a draft pick. He has potential to make it to the NFL. If he lets us develop him, then we have that chance. And then the portal guys, those are free agents. You got to get in there and get a couple guys, because some seniors might leave, people leave early, and you got to plug some holes and fill them early. But, right now, just with the landscape of the business, I enjoy it. I want these kids to get paid. We were the number one recruiting class, football and basketball, when we came in. So we understand the value of the school. As long as I can still keep pumping the school and they understand what you get with coming with UCLA, we'll be fine.
There's a kid out there, Nico. I don't want to butcher his last name, but he goes to Tennessee. I heard he left Tennessee. I know he's from SoCal. I know you may not be able to talk about recruits and names, but every time I've seen anybody post on Nico, I've been putting UCLA football, bro. You might as well come on home, man. Bring your brother with you. Bring pops, bring the whole family, man. Westwood is a beautiful place, man, with a lot of perks, and we'll take care of you. This is me talking, by the way. I don't want to get nobody in trouble on set, but this is me talking. Your journey from done playing to running back coach over at Texas Tech, come back home, and you're a running back coach at UCLA too.
Yep.
And then when that phone rang to be the head coach of the Bruins, talk to us about your journey post-career, because a lot of players, basketball, football, whatever it may be, kind of struggle when our careers are done. And you've been able to transition into coaching has been your journey, and your journey has brought you back home. But what is that journey like when you were done playing, and how long did it kind of take you to kind of get your mojo back and find what was going to be your second act post NFL?
I came back to school just to finish my degree. So I wanted to finish my degree. I did that. And so I came back in 2012. I finished playing in 2009. And those last couple years, just so 2010, 11, 12, I was kind of just going to see the homies play, whoever was still playing, going traveling to games and enjoying that. And then, you know, you do promise your mom that you'll finish college. So I had to go back and do that. And as I was coming back, I was going to be on campus every day. Bobby Fields, the coach that recruited me to come to UCLA, was the AD over football. And he was like, if you're going to be on campus every day, come by. And I was like, okay. And I still didn't know if I wanted to coach at that time. You know, I knew I might have wanted to be around football, but coaching those hours is different.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, man.
So we did that 2012, 13. I was an undergrad coach. 2014, I was a GA, so I was working on my master's for a season. That next year, 2015, I became a player development at UCLA. Then in 2016, I got the running back job at Texas Tech, and that was Mahomes' last season. So that's why I met
What was he
Cliff.
like? What was he like in college?
Just
like he is with the Chiefs?
Just exact
Cold.
same way. Cold. It's just that you don't know if he can continue to play
Does
that
it
type of
translate
football.
on the next level?
Is it going to translate to the pros? And you do it all over again. I know all those teams would go back and draft him because of all those quarterbacks they took before him.
No question.
He's outperformed them.
Big Ten life. I mean, we grew up Pac-10 and it transitioned into Pac-12, but now Big Ten. I mean, the travel schedule is probably outrageous. But obviously this was a football move for our school.
Most definitely.
So what is that like? I mean, obviously you're playing some of the biggest names in college football. You know, you guys 5-7. You guys had a very solid first season for a first year head coach, but then transitioning into one of the most powerful football conferences in the country.
Most definitely. As a competitor, I was disappointed with our record, but you know, it was a new conference, new travel, new stadiums, a lot of new stuff that a lot of our players haven't been involved in before. So it was a lot of change. But you know, if you want to be great, you want to play these big time games. If you want to win end of the season awards and all of that stuff, you got to play these teams and you got to be in these type of conferences. So I'm looking forward to it.
Was there any stadium you as kind of the player in you that you guys went to this year? Because we didn't get a chance to go to those kind of stadiums when we were in the Pac. Any of those stadiums you're like, God damn, this is dope.
There was one in conference and one out of conference.
Where was
Penn
that?
State.
Oh, Penn State. Happy
Just
Valley.
coming out we didn't. I was kind of hoping it was a whiteout, but we didn't get that. But it was still live in
and then who else?
LSU.
Ooh.
But I played at LSU during Katrina.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we played the Saints inside there, but it was different. It wasn't rocking the way it was
That's dope.
this past season.
Best part about being the UCLA head football coach?
Best part is just being back at home. You know, I'm at a university that I can speak for. I'm a walking blueprint on what this school can do for you, and I just try to make sure that my players understand that. And you know, as long as you're listening to me and following what our coaching staff can do, we can get you to the top.
Well, best of luck. New baby recently?
Yeah.
How has that been? Is wifey holding you, getting any sleep? How's that going?
I'm leaving the house at 4:00. So.
I see you guys out on the stairs when it's still dark. At first, I looked at the thing. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's dedicated. He's running stairs when it's dark. And then I looked at the time like, oh, shit, this was 3 hours. This motherfucker's running stairs at 4 a.m,
It's
5
crazy.
a.m.
It's crazy.
The grind don't stop.
But I just try to make sure that if the players can see me doing this, they'll
Come
do
on,
that,
man. You got to see it to believe it.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Well, congratulations, man. I wish you the best of luck. I'm happy that we're obviously partnering for Friday Night Lights, but obviously bigger partnerships are in conversation. And Nico, we waiting on you, bro. Come fuck with us. Appreciate you, Deke. Thanks for coming through, bro. Yeah, no doubt.
You ever had one of those moments when you want to elevate your night? Maybe it's a dinner with friends or a celebration that calls for something extra. That's where Grand Marnier comes in. You probably heard of it, but have you tried the signature drink? The Grand Margarita. It's the twist of a classic margarita. It has the smooth richness of Grand Marnier's cognac. And combined with orange liqueur, a bit of citrus, and just the right amount of sweetness, with a taste like that, it's perfect for any occasion. Whether you're chilling at the crib or out with friends, a Grand Marg remixes a regular cocktail into something extraordinary. Don't just settle for a good cocktail when you can have something grand. It's about making your next drink one to remember. So when you're making your next margarita, remix it and make it grand with Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier liqueur, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink with style, drink responsibly. Bro, it's been a long day at work, man. I'm ready to get baked.
You ain't never lied.
No. I mean toasted.
Yes, sir.
Gooey. melted. It's gonna be nice.
Wait a minute, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Jimmy John's, bro. After years of perfecting the cold sandwich, Jimmy John's is turning up the heat on their sandwich game.
Jimmy John's toasted sandwiches are finally here. Try one of their 3 new toasted sandwiches with like my favorite, the chicken bacon ranch, roast beef and cheddar, or the ultimate Italian.
Or why not try one of your Jimmy John's favorites, toasted?
Each sandwich is the perfect combination of crunchy and melty. They're here and they're hot.
Order online at jimmyjohns.com, the Jimmy John's app, or stop by your local Jimmy John's for a perfectly toasted sandwich. Satisfy your toast buds.
This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network. I know we stay joking, but let me take a second to put on my serious voice. Because this isn't a joking matter. Me personally, I would never joke about a 5G network that has invested billions in building 5G towers across the country.
Me neither.
Not even once.
Me neither.
Feel me?
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store for more information.
The Boost Mobile network together with our roaming partners covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
Make sure you guys go check out the latest episode of Art of War with my brother Andre Ward with his latest guest, Lamont Roach. Here's a clip. Take a look.
What was your read on Javante going into the fight, him personally?
I think he doubted himself. Hell of a talent, hell of a puncher. Super good accuracy. I think that's what leads to the most of his knockouts, honestly. But he doubted himself.
Why you say?
And he been doing that since a kid.
Yeah? Something you know.
That's just something I know. So that played a little bit into the fight. I think especially when there's not a lot of animosity, because you got to think, a lot of people he fought, they just have differences. Like they be into it or whatever the case may be. I don't got no problem with him, and he don't got no problem with me. So I think he was trying to find something to boost his morale or get him going or whatever the case may be. And he tried to, like the betting me that he gonna knock me out and stuff like that. That didn't go too well for him.
Did y'all bet?
Oh, we bet, and we shook on it.
He paid up?
He changed his number.
You ain't heard from him. You ain't got that yet.
I ain't got that
You
yet.
ain't got that yet.
He changed his number, Slim.
Yeah.
So, but that'll be a conversation for another day.
Tune in to the full episode on All the Smoke Fight YouTube channel.
All right, Matt. Next up, Roe Sparks or Fire, presented by Roe Sparks. Fast-acting, long-lasting ED treatment. Isaiah Thomas, very pointed thoughts on LeBron James warming up shirtless. Let's take a look at the clip.
LeBron James going to play the game like this. Shirts and skins is what they're doing in that way.
I just totally 100% object to this. And if I was the GM or coach,
Me too.
I would never let one of my players walk out on the floor looking like this. I mean, we are a professional league. We ain't summer league. We ain't, at the YMCA.
So before I give you Sparks Fire, I need some more context. So was this like when fans were already in the building, or was he on like his Kobe shit where he was there like 3.5, 4 hours early and no one else is in the gym?
It was. I think before fans let in, there was no one really in the crowd.
So this is Sparks. This is definitely not Fire. I could see if fans were in the building and he's in there with their shirt off shooting. Which I don't even see why it's a big deal, because NFL players do it all the time. They try to show off how cool they are in freezing weather with no shirts on, which is crazy, and they warm up and there's no issues. But obviously, LeBron is always a hot topic. So if someone gets a chance to shoot, they're going to shoot. Love Zaya, love Bron. This is Sparks. This is just a little bit of smoke. There definitely ain't no Fire. Here are my pick 6 selections for this week, brought to you by DraftKings. This week, we got the Warriors versus the Grizzlies in the play-in. I'm taking Steph Curry and more on his points. Next up, we have the Hawks and the Magic in a play-in, and I'm going with my boy Paolo, more points. That's a wrap for this week's show. You can catch this episode on All the Smoke Productions YouTube and the DraftKings Network. We'll see y'all next week.